Hello and welcome to the first part of the Randomizer Tournament. So we're going to have two matches up today. There's a free-for-all for the singles and a free-for-all for the doubles. So how this is working is players are competing for seeding into the actual tournament, which will be starting next week. I'm Meldon, and I'm joined by Vooligen and Hydra. Hello, guys.
Yo.
And we will be commentating the singles part of this. So this part is pretty self-explanatory. Every player is just competing on their own. They are not able to look at anyone else's stream. They are not able to get any other information. It's just trying to play the random seed as fast as possible. This category that we're playing does have a couple of rules. It's the all trees category, which is very similar to the all skills category, if you know the non-randomized version of this game. And it involves going to all of the tree locations. However, you do not need to collect all of the actual skills themselves. All right, Hydra, would you care to explain how the randomizer itself works?
Well, most of the pickups, those being like experience orbs, keystones, and all that, there's a pool that the randomizer feed pulls all those pickups from. And the Senior Hills is played on limited keys, which has all of the world events and such as hill trees. Those all have keys and keys to dungeons and such. Yeah.
So we're kind of waiting here for this to get started. I guess this is going to be kind of a real cluster, right? Because we've got a lot of players all playing this at the same time. How many do we have, Meldon?
I believe we have 10 people playing today.
Oh my good lord.
With the rest of the contestants having played earlier due to scheduling conflicts.
So how many total people have entered for the singles tournament?
We have 19 players in the singles tournament.
Okay, whew.
So kind of the big thing to watch for, although it will be affected by the previous times from players who have already completed the seed, is that some people will have to compete in a play-in going into the round of 16. So if you're one of the 6 slowest times, you will not get into the round of 16. You will instead compete with the other 6 or the other 5 players to play in there. So you definitely don't want to be one of the 6 slowest times.
So I think we have the runners do seem to be ready to go. Are we ready to kick them off and start the horrible confusion and madness?
I'm very ready and excited for this.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna have about 1 million screens visible on this stream in just a few moments as we start this, and as we get going, obviously it's going to be a lot of information to take in on the screen, so we'll try to guide your attention as the viewers to streams of runners who are doing kind of interesting things at any given moment. We're probably going to be following some of the more experienced randomizer runners, which would be folks like Covert Muffin and Shed, and also like Fluffy Prower. And a couple other people have a fair bit of random experience. And then there are also some runners who are really experienced in the all skills category or other categories of this game who are not as experienced in randomizer, like Ella Jimny and Raziel. And we will be seeing some of them as well, just trying to see how they approach the randomizer and kind of their first couple runs, really. We are looking like we're resolving some technical issues.
I think we're ready to go at this point.
Okay. So while we're waiting for that, Hydra, do you have anyone in particular that you're thinking about during this particular free-for-all that you're kind of gonna watch really closely and see what they do?
I'm excited for Elo just because of his presence in all skills, but he hasn't done all that much in terms of randos. So it should be good to see. Fluffy has also done quite a lot of randos, but hasn't actually done all that much in all skills. So it should be a pretty even match.
And we're off. Looks like we're trying to get the stream synced up as best as possible.
Okay, looks like my restream died real quick, but oh good lord, there's so many screens. Alright. Great.
So the
we're
first
off.
thing that players are going to do that's very different than a typical all skills run is they're going to go pick up this very first pickup, this 15 XP orb, and hope that it's something good, like maybe dash. And then they're going to go get sign, which is necessary to complete the game, because not all the pickups in the map appear before you get sign.
Indeed, and they're also going to pick up that XP orb that's just below the Spirit Flame pickup, and it looked like it was a mapstone. So an interesting feature of the randomizer is that mapstones, both the mapstones in the world have random things that you can get from them, and also when you get a mapstone, you can an actual mapstone that is, you can take it to a map monument, put it in, and you get to participate in kind of a progressive fetch quest. Where you can acquire new and different things over the course of all 9 mapstones. So I see that we have returned back now to the beginning using Alt-R. Hydra, you want to tell us real quick about Alt-R?
Yeah, Alt-R is just a simple position place. It places you right above where you originally start the file. It's very nice for if you end up doing a sequence break and soft lock yourself, but it can also be used just as a general movement to get around faster.
I believe we just saw some fake flippers there. I did not catch what showed up under the water.
It seems to be your experience.
Okay.
It's
Not that big.
Unfortunate for the players that
Yeah.
chose to sequence break there, that they didn't get anything useful, but not surprising.
Yeah, so Meldon, you want to tell us a little bit about why that's a sequence break and what that means in the context of the randomizer?
So the randomizer has different difficulties of logic, which require you to do more and more complex tricks. And one of the things that is included in this is how much damage boosting you have to do. And we play on standard difficulty here, which includes only light damage boosts. So you have to be able to do them without any health pickups. So it'd be stuff that only does 1 or 2 damage. And that water there, you have to at least take 3 damage to get that pickup, and therefore it's not included in the logic. That doesn't mean that there can't be anything there, because the game could give you clean water and then expect you to go get that pickup. But at this time where players don't have clean water, the game does not expect them to have gotten that pickup.
So we've made our way a fair bit around the world right now, seeing a lot of different people in a lot of different places. In the center is Covert Muffin, who is just now picking up a wall jump, which is from the first map monument. A couple others looked like Elo and Raziel had already picked it up. Some other set of people probably hadn't. I don't know. It's impossible to follow. There's too many screens. Oh, goodness. So, having gotten wall jump at this point in the game, Meldon, what would you be looking to go do?
So it depends on if you have enough keystones. If so, you want to continue on to the upper part of left blades. There's another 4 keystones there you can collect that could have pickups. And otherwise, pretty much the only other place you can go is Blackroot Burrows, which is scary. It's a challenging area. It's slow, even if you get more movement abilities. And there are very few pickups, but it's required to get the dash tree. So you have to commit to it at some point, and the logic often will send you there to get something important.
Alright, so you have several runners going down to the wall jump tree, picking up their first of the trees. Again, as Meldon mentioned, you are required to visit each of the trees. They don't necessarily give the skills that they would have given in the vanilla game. In fact, this one, it looked like... oh no, that was the energy cell nearby gave 5 XP. So that's That's great. Meanwhile, we have at least one person checking the left side of Glades. Not getting a whole lot so far, but that does seem to be where the seed led them. It gave them some keystones, gave them opportunity to head over there. Let's see what else they come up with. Some energy cells. So we got 3 energy and 3 health on, I want to say that's Covert Muffin? Yes. And everyone else is kind of following a very similar path.
I'm interested where Covert's going right now.
He has gotten the wall jump tree. Did he not do the...
Oh, he has not gotten the wall jump tree. Not yet.
Oh, that's true. Yep. So he took a bit of a detour, I guess, to the left glades before doing the wall jump tree.
Ah, I see. I must have missed that. That makes a lot more sense.
Meanwhile, we're seeing some save anywhere from Raziel, I think. Or Elo. I don't know, one of the two.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, so a glitch that people regularly use in all skills, right, Hydra?
Yeah. Pretty nice for skipping cutscenes, but it's also pretty major.
And that's also not included in the logic, correct?
No. Well, not in this logic.
Right.
Which is what's important. So if we're using to skip things like a cutscene, it's not that important, it just saves some time. But I expect we will see some players use it later in a couple of different ways to actually get to pickups that you can't otherwise get to. There's a boulder, it's kind of an Indiana Jones themed part of the game where you have to run away from this boulder that will kill you. But if you use the save anywhere, you can actually make the boulder not kill you. And it's very useful in the randomizer to get to pickups that are behind that boulder.
Oh no. Word from the truck is that Terra did not pick up the XP below. Oh, it looks like he might have actually started over.
Yeah.
Oh, that is brutal. Yeah, because he did not pick up the XP below the Spirit Flame pickup at the beginning of the game, and as it turns out, that pickup is strictly required. And that was the map stone which led to wall jumps, so ooh. Rough times for him.
It's very unfortunate.
All dying out of that room unfortunately does make it so that you're not able to go back there.
You can avoid that soft lock by finishing that fight with the Frankies, and then that room will reopen. But it's slower, so most players avoid it. But it does have the potential of, if you forgot a pickup, messing you up later.
Yeah.
So,
rough time for Terra.
Yes.
In the meantime, basically everyone else has been going through Blackroot Burrows, collecting all the stuff. I didn't see any particularly interesting pickups in Blackroot. A couple keystones. Looks like Muffin just picked up some Mega Health, and that's a pretty neat little bonus feature of the randomizer. Melvin, you want to give us a quick blurb about Mega Health and Mega Energy?
So there are additional pickups in this game that were added by the developer of the randomizer, Sigma. And Mega Health and Mega Energy give you temporary health and energy as well as a full refill. And I believe it is 5 health and 5 energy. So they're very useful for extra saves, getting through energy doors, keeping yourself alive if it's Mega Health. But most players will kind of not expect to have them, and therefore won't use them for any major sequence breaks.
So it looks like we had, I think that's Elo picking up the dash tree, and it was only, actually, ooh, ouch, the death to the crushers there. There's only a couple XP, so nothing particularly special, but again, you have to take it. And he's also going through these crushers to the right of the dash tree, and that's not in the logic, actually, in the standard mode. It is assumed that you will have dash to be able to go through there, so that's technically a sequence break. Didn't look like it got him anything compelling anyway.
It was grenade actually, which is
oh goodness,
it opens up a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so it's actually important to point out then that if you get something from that pickup, having gone through that space where you're supposed to be required to have dash. Now, actually, grenade cannot be required to get to dash because dash is required to get to grenade. So it's very tempting now to lean towards only checking like grenade areas, right? But you want to make sure that you're still looking elsewhere too in case dash shows up somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll see if players use that information to their advantage. It can be a lot to keep track of what pickups you got, how that affects the logic, and not just go play the game as fast as possible. So it looks like Covert is heading to the Charge Flame tree using his grenade pickup to get through the breakable wall. However, unless
from his plant there,
unless he finds Charge Jump at some point here, he will not be able to actually get out of this tree, and we'll need to actually go around and put in the keystones the traditional way.
So he actually, oh my goodness! So two big pickups that just happened. Muffin picked up dash from the Charge Flame tree, so that's really important. But also, Ella picked up bash from the XP in the Raziel No area, which is one of my favorite memes personally. Don't ask why. He also did the glitch to allow the boulder to pass over him. Hydra, you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, sure. That's a save anywhere, which ends up making the boulder harmless. Basically, the state is saved where it has already reached the back wall and therefore will not hurt you. But it can still push you out of bounds, which be careful of.
So we do see some other runners using the bash and grenade combination to get around. Bash and grenade are a fantastic pair in randomizers, and they allow you to do a ton of stuff, right, Meldon?
Yes. Bash and grenade opens up just about everything on the map, which can be both very nice as a runner, but also very frustrating because it doesn't limit where you can go, so you don't have any idea what the logic wants you to do anymore.
It's interesting that you said you use that expression, what the logic wants you to do, because obviously this is a randomizer, right? So the positions of items are random. That's the idea, of course. But at the same time, we're seeing Muffin use the Frankie here to stomp down the peg in BRB. That's not something you see every day. Technically, that requires stomp. Oh, bit of an unfortunate incident as the Froggy actually dies. He's not going to be able to stomp that thing down and get access to Moon Grotto. But again, that's not in the logic.
Yeah, we'll see if he looks like he's not going to reload to bring that Frankie back.
Yeah, I would guess that his thinking was probably like, I'm going to try for this. It didn't quite work out. All right, fine. I'll live with it and move on.
Yep.
But yeah, the randomizer is not really a an entity with thinking capabilities or anything, but basically the way that it lays things out, there is kind of an intended order. It assumes that you'll progress in a certain way based on the places that it has put things, because obviously it has to be able to make sure that you can finish the seed. So with stuff like sequence breaks in a randomizer, some sequence breaks in the vanilla game might be intended, like Frankie Walk or something, but this sequence breaking the randomizer logic is not necessarily.
Definitely. And when you have a pickup that is locked behind something, or if you have a very limited set of skills, then you can only go check a couple of pickups. And you know that since there's a small pool, one of those pickups has to be important. But when you get something like Bash Grenade, all of the pickups are available. So any of those pickups could be important, and you have to go check them all until you find the correct one.
We're seeing a little bit of a visit into Valley from, I believe, that shed. And he's just picking up this ability cell that's accessible via having the Frankie stomp this section. And it looks like he can probably also get these two pickups up at the top. None of which has seemed particularly good, so he's going to make his way out. That's kind of, I wouldn't call it risky, but it's a potentially time-costly visit. Meldon, as a rando runner, what do you think about heading off to Valley that early with no stomp?
So that pickup is actually in the standard logic because you can get the Frankie to stomp it. It's called a lure, where you take an enemy away from their original position and use them to help you out. So I would always check that because it is a necessary, or is potentially a necessary pickup. But it does always feel a little risky because there's only one pickup, or 3 pickups if you can get the other 2 that you can check.
It's interesting to see this much energy this early in a randomizer. It's very common to not get that much energy, to be kind of restricted by that. But these runners are finding themselves able to access some of these energy doors that normally would be locked off for a much longer period of time. So at this point, we've got, for most of the runners, it looks like we've got some grenade, we've got some bash, we got some dash, and we got wall jump. At this point, Hydra, as a runner, what are you thinking about? Like, where are you thinking about heading?
For me, I would head to the right side of swamp area. There's a lot of hoops there, so it's air density, plus there's probably something useful there. Get glide and wind restored, or maybe stomp.
And you're talking about the outside area of swamp, as opposed to the one after the Ginso tree?
Yeah. Like, on the right side of, the Ginso tree there, but not in swamp area where stomp tree is.
So we did see a double bash from Shed there. And again, this is something that is also not in the logic, correct, Melvin?
Correct.
He's trying to make his way up to check some of these pickups. Now, just because it's not in the logic, and therefore it theoretically is not necessarily the next direct thing that he needs, it could still be an important and vital thing that's up there. And just what Shed is really trying to do is just avoid having to come back here later for more things, if possible.
It is. It's often to your advantage to pick up everything you can while you're in an area. Coming back to an area is often very slow. We have these teleporters that we can return to that you'll see players picking up as they go. But there are only so many teleporters, so you still end up having to run around the map a lot.
Jed did pick up glide right there. It was the 100 experience.
Oh, excellent.
At Iceless.
It's a great convenience pickup for him. It's not always necessary, but it makes doing Sorrow a lot safer.
For sure. I just had to do Sorrow without glide the other day, and it's it's always an adventure.
That
particularly if he gets lucky enough to find wind restored, which again, the randomizer randomizes everything, and the world events, such as the restoration of the 3 elements, are included in the things that are randomized. So you can find wind restored somewhere in some random spot, and that'll allow him to get around a couple areas and reach some pickups that would otherwise be a lot more difficult to get to. Although we see him going for one of those right now without needing wind restored. So, oh, and it was Stomp. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
that's incredibly useful. That that officially opens up the left side of the map for him.
Yeah, wow. So that is tremendously important, and I guess we're gonna see if the other runners are gonna go for that. I think at this point, you can see on the screen we have a lot of divergence in terms of where people are going. We have Griff's checking out the upper side of Sunken Glades. We've got Muffin is in Grotto. Raziel's gone back to BRB. Looks like he's trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do. Terra's back in BRB as well. Of course, Terra's unfortunately an age behind because of the soft lock. So Landriel...
Looks like Raziel was using one of the map pedestals. So there are 9 of these map pedestals around the map. And you get map stones and have to put them in. And you can only use each one once. So if he hadn't used that, it's good to go back, revisit, so that if you get a map stone later, you can just put it in a closer map pedestal.
Right, those are progressive. Hydra, do you want to tell us what that means about the map monuments?
right. So the map monuments, in previous versions, they were based on the location of the map monument itself. But now that it's progressive, it doesn't matter which ones you turn in, so long as you turn in an amount. So, for example, wall jump would be Map Stone or Map Monument 5. But it
God,
doesn't
that would be
matter.
terrible.
Oh, it would, yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly correct. And a couple of the runners do have their trackers up. They're almost certainly impossible to read on the stream. But Covert Muffins, for example, says 3 out of 9. So he's checked out 3 of the 9 map monuments so far, and so he's gotten that deep, 1/3 of the way into the progression there. I did not see what was on the third one. I know the first one was wall jump, and the second one was a health cell. But I've not seen the third one.
So I noticed that Shed now has charge jump as well, and he's using that to get into the stomp tree very quickly.
It sounds like that came from the water next to the Triforce. I forget exactly which underwater section that was.
I'm actually not sure either.
It's one of the little Easter eggs. There's a couple underwater pickups that have little Easter egg decorations near them. One's like a pipe from Super Mario Brothers.
Ah, the one left of Drainless.
Ah, of course.
So that is on the right side of Swamp. It's a fairly easy damage boost to check. I think it requires 3 or 4 HP. 3 or 4 damage.
So Shed is making very quick work of this. He's got very good progress right now. He's got basically all the skills he can really need. He doesn't have double jump, but that's not too terrible. He doesn't have charge flame, but at this point it's irrelevant because he's got grenade. And he doesn't have climb, but no one cares about climb.
Climb would be potentially useful, as it allows him to grenade jump, which can be a great movement ability and save some time at the end of the game. But it's definitely not necessary.
Now, I guess one thing that hasn't come up too much yet so far, because we actually have not seen any of the keys, and that's the keys. So, Hydra, you were telling us earlier about limit keys. Tell us a little bit about which keys they actually need and why they need them.
Right. So, in the randomizer, you need the Water Vein and the Sunstone. Obviously, Sunstone is for Horu, as you need to finish him somehow. Water Vein is purely for Bash Tree, which in this run we need all of the trees. Ooh, Terra just took an unfortunate death there.
That section is very nice.
Yeah.
So as was mentioned, limit keys means that those keys will either be on a world event or on one of the later trees. So the players are going to try and avoid going to those events and instead try to collect them from the trees. I say try; they have no say in the matter. They've already been placed, but you're hoping that you can go visit some of the trees that are quick, as we see Shed heading towards the light grenade tree. And if you can find all of those keys before you finish your trees, then you won't have to go visit the world events, which can be rather slow.
Yes, now the thing about that, of course, is he can't get to the Bash Tree until he's got that Water Vein, as Hydra mentioned. So he's basically going to be hoping that maybe right here the Grenade Tree will give him a key. And it did, but it's not quite the one he wanted. He got the Gumon Seal. Oh, that's fantastic. So we actually are seeing Hello Jiminy and Shed practically in sync for just a moment there, as they were both at the Grenade Tree. They both picked up their Gumon Seal. But yeah, so that would allow them to get into Forlorn, and there is exactly one reason to go into Forlorn, and that would be that at the very end, after exhausting every possible other option, they still don't have either the Sunstone or the Water Vein, and it would have to be on the Wind Escape, and they're going to really hope that's not the case. We're seeing more BRB from Shed. He's heading into Moon Grotto via that entrance. He's going to head down to his double jump tree. First, he's going to do a quick trip through the rockfall, I guess. Meanwhile,
yeah, grab the Water Vein. What that is.
Did he already grab that? I forget. I know I've seen someone do it.
I
never knew that you could bash off these rocks in the rockfall.
The first one always results in a bash bud, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You will always take damage from the first one, so be careful if you do it at low health.
That's
I'm actually
incredible.
surprised he did that. If you have charge jump, it's actually still rather quick to not glitch. I mean, to glitch that cutscene, and it's a little safer. But I guess he really wants the speed of bashing up those rocks.
Interesting that Shed did not use Alt T to check what he got from the water vein. I guess there was enough that he just saw he didn't get a key that he wanted, or he didn't get anything else interesting. I guess we haven't mentioned Alt T yet. Melvin, you want to? So
there's a number of different commands on the randomizer that will show you different information. Alt T shows you your last pickup. So you'll see these little message boxes appearing at the top of people's screens. And then Alt R sends you back to the beginning, which was mentioned earlier. And then there's Alt P, which we'll see if anyone uses. It's not as useful in the limit keys, but we'll likely see it a lot in the doubles, as it will show you the number of shards you have. And despite mentioning that, we'll get into the details of shards later. I don't want to complicate this stream.
Yeah, we'll just leave it as an exercise for later. But yeah, it's a useful aspect of that Alt P thing.
So
but yeah,
that will show you how many.
trackers.
Yeah, that will show you how many trees you have as well. So in case you forget which ones you visited.
All right, so we have tons and tons of divergence right now, so it's hard to give any real coherent commentary here. You see Elo making his way up into the Valley of the Wind. He's made his way to the top, dropped his Wilhelm Frog, rip that dude. Salandriel
does have Sunstone. So he's just one key away from being able to finish.
It sounds like Sunstone was at Glide. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so that's great for them. It means everyone's going to get easy access to the Sunstone, so they don't need to worry about that. It's the water vein that's going to be the real question. So Elo is opting for what appears to be the strategy of let's just get to those trees and figure out what the deal is. And he's starting with Sorrow Pass. Meldon, would this generally also be your play?
Yes. So Sorrow Pass has a tree in it, the charge jump tree. It also has an event, the Sunstone. So if you don't get the last event you need at charge jump, you can go check Sunstone relatively quickly, especially compared to the other tree he needs to go visit, the climb tree. Completing the back half of Misty is very slow, and walking the orb is also very slow to get that event. So I would definitely always choose Sorrow first.
So interesting that Muffin just opted to do the save anywhere with the Spirit Tree cutscene at the center of the world, and that means that he cannot get access to that teleporter later on. It's just locked off. Meldon, generally, would you want to wait for that cutscene, or would you want to skip it and just not worry about it?
Depends on when I'm there. Early, I would get it. If I'm headed to Valley at that time, I would skip it. The Valley teleporter is more useful. So if you can get that teleporter immediately, then you can skip that cutscene and save some time.
We are seeing a lot of Valley going on right now, as well as a little bit of Swamp from Fluffy and Griffs. But,
very nice double bash, Sorrow Bash from Shed there.
Not a big surprise. He's got pretty good consistency on his, I assume he's a KBM player, and he's pulling off his cheating double bashes. Hydra, which is your preferred double bash method, or sorry, preferred Sorrow Bash method?
I mean, with dash, it's a simple double dash, and then dash towards the bird, and then generally another double dash. But it is up to the input method, really.
Oh goodness, someone's having some issues with those birds. And another Wilhelm Frog gets dunked. Yeah, that's Raziel. Meanwhile, Elo is making his way in, and Muffin's just about there as well. He's going for some fast stompless action here, but he doesn't have double jump, which makes it a lot crappier. Well, everyone seems to be kind of having some issues with Sorrow Bash. I guess they're not used to doing it without double jump.
So Shed just got the water vein from the charge jump tree. So he is
fantastic.
officially, I believe, in go mode and is a very happy person. He has 2 trees left to get. He has all of his keys. He has all the skills he needs. He can go finish the game.
Yeah, there's nothing left for him to even really care a lot about. He doesn't have climb, but like grenade jumps are kind of whatever. He doesn't have charge flame, but again, it's irrelevant because he has grenade. And he doesn't have double jump, but he can live. He's got charge jump, and he's got bash and dash and everything he needs. So yeah, you're going to see him. Go mode is a term that is frequently used in randomizers, and it just means that he's got everything he needs to be able to finish the game, so he doesn't actually have to waste any time picking up anything along the way. So that's what you're going to be seeing the rest of the way from Shed. And it's actually just the bash tree and the climb tree left for him. So right after Misty, he'll head to the Ginso tree, and then he'll be finishing up pretty soon.
So I was just informed Oshi is in a almost similar position as Shed, but skipped Sorrow for Misty instead. So if he decides to check all of Misty, that is going to really slow him down. We'll see what decision he makes.
Yeah, pretty shortly. He's coming up on the last little bit before climb, and he is, of course, checking those pickups. He's trying to break that plant there, but had a little bit of an issue. I don't know what he got from that, but doesn't seem to have been anything useful.
Also,
I believe
looks like
she's missing charge jump as well.
I was just going to say that he had to go around the vanilla way to charge jump as opposed to breaking the floor or the roof from below.
Alright, so we see Elo picking up his water vein. He's heading to finish his stuff off. Shed is making his way into the Ginso tree, so you can see how fast it is once they're in go mode.
That speed is also helped by the use of Alt-R. Normally in this game, once you get to a tree, you'd have to traverse all the way from the tree back to the teleporter. In the randomizer, we can just teleport right back to the start.
So I guess we can see this is a really, really fast seed. Now, Hydra, did you also enter the singles tournament?
I did, yeah. I ended up playing the seed beforehand, as I thought I was not going to be wait in time. But
And what was your time in this?
I believe it was a 37, but I could be off about that.
And Meldon, you've also played this as well. What was your time?
My time was a 59. I had a lot of trouble with this seed.
Oh, no.
I made a couple of very bad routing decisions, and ended up costing me.
But tell us a little bit about that. If there was one in particular that that maybe we did or did not see any of these runners run into.
So when I got enough energy, I decided it was a good idea to go to Grotto before going to the Charge Flame tree, and it turns out Charge Flame had dash.
Oh no.
And that was a large time loss. And I don't think we saw anyone go for an early Grotto entrance, although Covert was trying to bash that Frankie, so it's actually probably a good thing that he messed that up.
So yeah, as we're seeing, just about everyone is just finishing up here. Shed is, I believe he's done. Yeah, so he just needs to head up to Horu. He's got his Thornfelt Swamp Teleporter. This is the one you would use in pretty much almost every speedrun category of this game to get to the final dungeon here. And it's going to be a pretty quick trip, and then once he gets there, he'll be doing everyone's favorite door warp. Hydra, you want to remind us all about door warp?
Oh yeah, the infamous door warp. It's a one-frame entering of the door on the first frame that he actually loads, which ends up warping you to the bottom of Horu. A lot of people have a lot of hate for it, but it really comes down to, I wouldn't say the input method, but I don't know. There's some stuff that it gives a lot of people trouble with, and others it's the simplest thing ever.
All
think
right, so
some
we'll
of
see
it-
how many attempts.
Some of it can come down to the method you choose to time when that
Yeah.
one frame is. There's
Yeah,
an
the audio versus
cue,
visual.
there's a visual cue, and then some people just go for the let's just mash the keyboard as fast as possible,
Yeah.
or controller, whatever your input method is.
So far, it's not going too hot for Shed. It's that was attempt 5, and he still hasn't gotten it. Okay, there we are, though. I'm not sure what type of input attempt he's doing there, whether he's trying to spam the key or what. But yeah, he got it eventually. It's all good. Shed definitely will be walking away with victory here unless something very, very surprising occurs in the last few moments.
And we heard from the truck, Hydra's time was a 44:02. So assuming Shed doesn't have too much trouble in the escape here, it looks like he's going to take the first place going into the actual bracket.
Very, very solid performance by him. He didn't seem to make any real wrong decisions or anything like that. He just kind of went where he needed to go, and of course, you know, it's a randomizer, so there's a little bit of luck as far as like in Meldon's case, right? You just you make a decision that seems probably pretty reasonable. Interesting to note, Shed hadn't gotten clean water, so you had to deboost through the water at the end there. But fortunately, that's not too bad. It doesn't take too much health to be able to pull that off. I guess that raises an interesting question, because the logic does not assume that you will damage boost through that water. So I guess the question is, where is clean water?
So
Silver does have it, but I don't know where it was.
So the challenge with clean water is it's only required for any of those water pickups. So if there's nothing important in the water, then it's basically only required for the very end of the game. So it could be just about anywhere.
Interesting. Where's...
Oh, she is doing
Follow-ups.
Forlorn.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
That's real bad. It looks like he has not gone to the charge jump tree, I think, based on what I'm seeing on his tracker. And that's the sunstone, or sorry, that's the water vein. So I think he just kind of made the wrong call here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Elo and Raziel looks like they're both done and have their final stuff complete. I'm just kidding. Elo has like 2 trees left to do. So he's going to do those. Raziel, I think, is done. No, he's got some stuff to go as well. So Elo and Raziel are basically probably at a very similar point here. I'm actually just thoroughly confused about what's going on Elo's screen. Alright, meanwhile, we're seeing Salandriel picking up double jump tree. So Salandriel, fair bit behind. I believe Salandriel is pretty brand new to this. So it's cool to see them. I'm actually just thoroughly confused. You know, just going on Elo's screen, playing and trying to get through, and kind of treating it as a learning experience. Salandriel picking up double jump tree. Meanwhile, Fluffy is working his way over to the charge jump tree.
So I'm hoping Muffin makes the correct decision, as we know, of where to go next. We'll see if he also chooses to go to Forlorn with some of his co-competitors.
So Muffin is currently lacking. He's not been to the charge jump tree. He's not been to the grenade tree. He has not been to stomp or bash. Looks like he's opting for grenade first, which is not going to give him anything interesting.
It might prompt him to go to Forlorn, though. It is Grumon Seal.
There's a risk
no.
associated with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I forgot that one was that.
I would say normally this is the correct decision. Light Grenade and Stomp are easy trees to get. You have to go there at some point, so they're better than the Charge Jump, Climb, or Forlorn visits. But we'll see what he does with this information.
Alright, so he's got his Gumon Seal. I see the mouse. He kind of switched it across the screen once or twice. Maybe maybe kind of thinking like, oh no, is it one of those? Meanwhile, Shed has finished the seed with a time of 37:35. So yeah, that'll definitely be good for the first seed position as far as the tournament is going to go. We got Terra still kind of looking around. It looks like he has not yet picked up Seed Jump or... it's hard to tell, actually, from the restream. No shots at our restreamer. Just the restream is kept at a low bit rate because there's a million things happening on it. So it's a little hard to tell what's happening on it.
It
So
seems Terra
looking
does
at-
not have Stomp, Glide, or Climb, or Double Jump and Charge Flame, but he does have
Okay.
Charge Jump.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I mean, he's using it, obviously, so... But yeah, he's I guess he's just checking out Right Glades or Right Swamp, hoping to find one of the things he's gonna need. No double jump is hilarious though. You get to see people try to do some of these jumps. They're just like, I don't even know how to do this. All right, Bash Tree for Elo. He just needs to get Stomp. Raziel is heading to Horror, so seems likely that he's going to be second. Meanwhile, Oshi is got his Save Anywhere up. So, what is going on here exactly on this Wind Escape Hydra?
Pretty much what they're doing is a Save Anywhere to skip the cutscene and then Alt-R out. It saves a little bit of time, and since there's nothing in the escape that you need, it's just a time save there.
Uh,
I guess you can Alt-R directly out of Escape, can you?
You
Yeah,
can.
you can.
It is faster to still use this skip that's used in the in normal speedrunning to get out of the cutscene faster.
Right. Normal speedrunning, as if any normal category goes to Forlorn Kappa.
I believe All Cells uses the skip to get out of that cutscene.
Yes, that's true. And of course, all dungeons and
All
Zero
dungeons
XP actually has
completes
to-
that dungeon.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. All dungeons requires that, doesn't it? Yeah, so does
Yes,
Zero
so-
XP.
So those two
All right.
categories actually do that whole escape.
So Horu Escape going on for Raziel. He will be taken second here. Again, unless he fails fish strats like 4 times.
So he doesn't have very much health going into this. Does he have clean water? Looks like he doesn't.
He does not, but he's got Ultra Defense, so he's fine.
He's going to skip fish strats, not risking the
Oh,
Potentially-
but he triggers Kuro, but he still made it. Oh, goodness.
Oh no!
That's
Oh, he
weird.
dies anyway. Raziel, no. Oh, goodness. That's funny. Doesn't he have charge jump?
I'm guessing by his use of grenade that he does not have charge jump.
That's somebody remind me where charge jump was.
I believe it was the 100 experience under the water by Triforce.
That's correct. Okay, so
dream
yeah, he
spell.
just never checked that area, and he doesn't have double jump either. So actually, this escape is going to be kind of challenging.
Yes.
This would be made easier if you had Sea Flame. You can use it to better break one of the walls, but I don't believe he has that either. So he's in a very interesting position.
That's definitely one of the cool things about this randomizer is getting to see people, especially other speedrunners. Like, it can be frustrating if you're primarily a casual player, as you might be seeing from Salandriel, who's kind of still trying to figure out like where am I intended to go. But once you have some experience and you know like what's possible, watching some like experience. Oh, there's the fish strats, and of course
He
that
decides
has
to go
be
for
able
it.
to- Oh, Raziel. Oh man. I guess it might, what might be a good thing to talk about, because he had a damage boost through that water with Ultra Defense. It might be good, Meldon, to give us a quick explainer on how you would use ability points in a randomizer.
So the ability point usage is never required by the randomizer. It assumes that you either don't spend the points or spend them however you want. But there are a couple of very useful abilities. Air Dash is the first one that most people will try to get, which allows you to, I guess, self-explanatorily dash in the air. Charge Dash is another very useful one, which also unlocks one of the very useful glitches, rocket jumping. And then at the very end of that same tree is Triple Jump and Ultra Defense. So it costs a lot of ability points to get to those, but both of those are very useful for gaining more height, for safety, and especially in the final escape, it keeps you alive. So you'll see people often try to level up to there. We actually have preferences for all of the runners, but there's just too many of them to go over in this format. We'll be discussing that in the one-on-one races.
So Muffin ended up finding Double Jump. It was Energy Cell in Swamp. He used a rocket jump from a fish to get up there.
Wow. Again, not an intended sequence in the randomizer, but very clever to go for that. And hey, like, double jump, baby. Trying to figure out what he's trying to do here. He's trying to crazy juggle for some reason to get somewhere, just to the top of Valley?
I think he may have been trying to bash the frog up part way, and that way you can actually rocket jump to the top, as opposed to if you rocket jump from the frog at the bottom of Valley, you only get up to about 3/4 of the height you need.
So we do see him gathering his frog from the middle here, and he's going to head up to the top. Now he still is lacking the bash tree, which of course he can't get to because he doesn't have water vein, and the charge jump tree. And it looks like he has opted to go into Sorrow first. So that, as we know, will be good for him because he will get his water vein. He'll be able to finish. Probably he'll come in around 55-minute range. Raziel looks like he got a 45:04, so congrats to him. Not too far behind Hydra's time there.
That time, what was it, 45:04, you said?
Yep.
That time places him in 3rd place, just behind Hydra.
Very nice. So Shed running away with just a very commanding lead on this seed. It looks like he kind of Shed, of course, has a ton of experience doing randos, and also he made the right decisions in this case, and it really paid off. But of course, the thing about that is that's going to seed him first, but it's not necessarily guaranteed in any given race that Shed has a massive advantage or anything, right?
Given that it's a randomizer, there's a lot of variables that can change. Just one missed pickup can drastically increase your time. So I'd say anyone has a chance in any given race.
I'm going to take a quick look at Salandriel on the top middle, and they're heading into this bottom section of the Moon Grotto. I'm trying to see what the progress is like. I see that they have Dash, I think, Bash. Are lacking pretty much everything else. So what is likely to have been the wall at this point in the seed for someone who maybe doesn't have the speedrunning experience?
So there are a number of tricks that can help to just speed things up and get you other pickups. But I think one of the biggest problems the new runners have with the randomizer is they don't know where all of the random XP pickups, the hidden things that are found around the map. So if you aren't aware of some secret and that has something important, that can really slow you down.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Hydra, tell me a little bit how your experience was in terms of learning where all the crap is, because there's a lot of crap.
It was mostly learning from my mistake. I ended up missing a lot of pickups on my first attempt, and it really messed me up. There was some very good pickups that I ended up missing. So I learned from that, and I'm constantly learning every time I do a randomizer.
So it looks like I can't actually read the name. Is that
Fluffy?
Fluffy at the bottom left? Yep,
yeah.
Finished. I can't tell what the time is. 48:48. So that's another solid time.
Elo is also in the escape right now, finishing up.
Yeah, he had some troubles with his swamp entry, but Otherwise, he basically was right with the rest of the pack. He does not have charge jump. Ooh. So he's going to be doing the same thing Raziel was doing, except no fish strats for him either. But it looks like he's good to go.
He is now holding right, having finished everything else in the game.
Meanwhile, Muffin did get his charge jump tree, and he received his water vein, so he's heading into Ginso, and he'll be finishing up pretty soon as well. We're seeing the 2-grenade bash trick from Covert a couple times. Meldon, who... I know this is a tough question, but who, like, came up with that?
I actually have no idea. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a couple of us who kind of all simultaneously figured that out.
That was horrible.
Nice throw, bash. Throw a grenade. While moving, you can't bash off of it, but if you're standing still, you can. However, the grenades last for a little while, so you can throw multiple of them in the air and then bash off the one that's falling to the one that's still going up.
Well, looks like we got some reshuffling of the layout from our fine restreamer, Richard. Thanks very much to him for managing this restream of 9 players simultaneously, which is no small feat. And just wait, because it'll get even dumber with the doubles coming up in a little bit.
But especially keeping track of where each team has been, in addition to where the individual players have been. There's a lot more information that both the players and us, the commentators, will need to keep track of.
Hello, Jiminy managed to crash the game at the very end, but he got done with 51-17. That's really funny. Actually, I'm not sure if it was the game or OBS. It's hard to tell, but yeah. So he's finished. Congratulations to him. We've got Muffin has gotten his bash tree, so he's heading to the final escape as well. And let's see, how's Griff's doing? So Griff's is heading into Valley now. It looked like he only recently got access here, so he is kind of just beginning his journey on this side of the map. And Oshi is still suffering from the fact that he didn't head to check out charge jump. So he's still kind of farming the right side of the map. I'm not actually sure what he's looking for. It's really just the water vein that he needs.
It does look like he's headed to... Yes, he is headed towards the location of charge jump. So he'll be very happy to have that.
He did pick it up, so Alt R's immediately, and he'll be heading, I hope, up to the sea jump tree so that he can finish his seed. Meanwhile, what are we seeing from Terra? Oh no, we're seeing the Frankie Stomp here. He's still not found Stomp. He's found almost everything else. He's got Climb, he's got Glide, he's got Charge Jump, but he is opening this peg with the Frankie because he does not have the actual Stomp ability. Oh boy. I guess once you get past that peg, is there anything that requires Stomp further in Valley?
Well, there is stomping the boulders to get Feather itself, although most players are able to do fast Stompless.
Right.
Beyond that, it depends on what you need to get. There's a couple of pickups that are made easier by Stomp, or depending on how Sorrow works, you sometimes need to Stomp the peg if you want to go fast. Yeah, we're seeing Terra has run into the first pickup that he could get with Stomp but can't get here, this bird Stomp cell that you can use Stomp to break that wall instead of charge jumping as intended.
And particularly it needs to be a wall charge jump, which means you also need Glide.
Climb.
That one. Yes.
I don't think Glide helps you very much there.
Well, it helps you get into position, I guess.
I suppose if you have wind restored, that area does have wind in it. So
that's true. All right, so we did see Muffin has finished his escape. He'll be holding right. We got some swag fish strats as he finished up.
Oh, that's a good piece of information the truck just gave me. Terra has not visited the light grenade tree, and will need either stomp or climb plus charge jump if he wants to get to that tree in the easiest manner. There is a very challenging trick. Otherwise,
yeah, I'm pretty sure he does not have. Does he not have wall jump? Why is he having so much trouble climbing that? I'm very confused what's happening on Terra's screen. I hope someday to find out.
Oh, she has picked up Water Vein. I believe that's all he needed. So he will be heading to Bash Tree and then End now.
Yeah, that's correct. You can almost make out in his tracker that only the one skill tree is still unlit. Incidentally, the tracker, a very nice piece of software made by Meldon that allows the runners to kind of track their progress in a clear fashion, and also allows viewers just a little bit more information.
Yeah, so for a viewer that isn't familiar with it, the inside of the tracker shows the world events, keys, and map stones. Then the ring of skills around it shows what skills they've obtained, and the trees, the little icons outside of that, show which trees they visited for the corresponding skill, since the randomizer can place those in different locations.
So we're seeing some fast stompless action from Terra. Griff's, meanwhile, kind of unsure where to go. I think he's lost a little bit of track of what he needs to go do. He does have Stomp. I am a little surprised that he didn't head up to, excuse me, Sorrow, but it may be that he's not confident or does not know that he can get into Sorrow without double jump. So that might be what he's looking for.
He also does not have Glide, which might be what he wants before heading into Sorrow.
I think either of those probably, if you're not confident in doing some very obscure kinds of movement, then you might want to just have either one of those.
So Covert has finished with a 55-28, and it looks like Oshi is nearly at the end of his trip through the Bash Tree. He is just a couple of rooms away from the last key door, and behind that is the Bash Tree.
So we should be expecting him to finish up around an hour total. Salandriel is getting some ideas. They have some thoughts, clearly, that they're trying to figure out they can reach this pickup above the spider cell. But it's rough. When it's your first couple randos, there's so many things you just don't know that it can very easily take just a very long time to make the breakthrough that you need in order to get by. And incidentally, it's worth noting that Salandriel did actually forfeit from the race earlier, and their timer is reset, so I think they just decided, I'm not actually going to be able to compete, which is unfortunate. I mean, you can finish eventually. Like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's nice to see players that, even though you don't know where the pickup you need is, and you're a little frustrated that you feel like you've checked everything, it's good to just persevere, keep checking every pickup you can. Eventually, you will find what you need.
Yep. So we see Terra is now heading into Sorrow. He has made it up there. He's got Glide, so it's not too bad. I guess doing Sorrow without Glide is definitely pretty awful. It's not really recommended for most people. Oshi, what is Oshi doing?
I'm unsure. We don't have any information. Oh, looks like Oshi has started again.
Yeah, that was weird, but okay. Maybe he got interrupted by like a pet or something, or the parents came in like, hey, can we chat for a bit? Like, actually, maybe no. Terra does not have Stomp, so he can't stomp that peg, which means he needs to do a long juggle to get this frog to the top of Sorrow. So we're going to see a lot of double bashes from him here. Meanwhile, Griffs is heading into Moon Grotto. What is he looking for? Still does not have double jump, still does not have glide. He does have climb, interestingly. So somehow he has managed to find that.
Hera is nearly at the top of this long juggle, and it looks like he is successful, and the ceiling is broken, and he is on his way up to the Sunstone, which we know is not useful, but it can be good to get that event out of the way.
So this is the part that gets a little bit rough in the randomizer. When you get to kind of the last little bit and you just like, I just need this one thing. Where could this one thing be? Hydra, what's your kind of thought process when you get to this point? It's like one specific thing. How do you go about selecting through the last like areas that you haven't checked yet?
Well, if I'm unable to progress, I generally think that I've missed something and try to backtrack and find what it is that I missed. But sometimes that's not always the right call. Can lead to some time loss, but you try and figure out what the logic wants you to do, or did want you to do.
I find it useful if you hit a point where you kind of have run out of pickups that you're thinking about getting. You can level up some of the map abilities, which will show you where XP, health cells, ability cells, energy cells are on the map. And it can be useful just to see that and be like, oh, there's a bunch of pickups over here, I haven't visited this area. Or maybe it shows you, I forgot about this one pickup, and that's the pickup that you need.
It's worth noting that we do have a bunch of resources available and are still working on more resources for players to be able to reference to figure out like what pickups might I have missed. The one egregious thing is that plants, which are the little like blue petrified plants that you have to blow up with either grenade or charge flame, are just not indicated on the map ever. There's nothing that ever indicates them. So we have a document that shows the locations of all of those.
Yeah, we have both locations, like pictures in-game, and we also have a whole map that has the location of each plant, which can be useful if you don't know where the plants are to start with.
All right, so Oshi is finished. He'll be holding right now. Coming in, looks like around a 102 and change. So, good job by him. Just a little bit of an unfortunate thing that he opted to go to Forlorn earlier than he really needed to. Well, which is to say, at all.
I've definitely done that myself in a randomizer.
Yep. I mean, that's if you're going for speed, you gotta sometimes make some gambles, right? And unfortunately, in this case, it did not pay off. Meanwhile, Griff's found climb. We're told it was in the swimming secret in swamp. So there's a little hidden area that you can get to via swimming in the swamp, and that was where that was found. Others opting not to go for a swim in the swamp because it's really slow and terrible.
Hera ended up finding Stomp and now is waving his mouse around. Must be pretty upset about that one.
Yeah, Stomp was definitely a bit of a rough position just by virtue of it being in that spot that normally you might not even think about. It's far off to the left, and also technically like requires wind to get to for the most part. But you got the right combination of abilities. It's not that hard to get there.
So I noticed that Griff's is now in Misty, but he does not have the Water Vein, which means that he has chosen Misty over Sorrow, like some of our runners. And we'll find out when he gets to the climb tree that is not the correct decision.
Well, we'll find out if he can make it like to the climb tree, because he does not have double jump, and I feel like the thing we're seeing from him is he's not super confident doing some of the more unusual kinds of exploitation of the skills that he has. I'm also not sure if he has... Oh, I was going to say I'm not sure if he has triple jump, but that wouldn't help because he doesn't have double jump.
Yeah. He doesn't have Feather, which probably explains his decision not to go to Sorrow first. Sorrow is very challenging without Feather. But
Yeah,
Misty is not much easier.
I think the main thing is if you do not have Feather and you want to do Sorrow, you just need to have a crap load of HP. And he's only got 7, so even with Ultra Defense, that's not really going to cut it for Featherless Sorrow. Also, this Spike Corridor is also terrifying, and he does not have sufficient ability points to pick up Ultra Defense, so that is really bad. That's going to make things real hard for him here.
So one strategy that you can use here is if you go to the right side, you'll see there's this little secret area, and you can place saves there, burn through some of your energy to get health back. So we'll see if he eventually opts to do that, as opposed to trying to do this all in one go.
So we did get a little clarification on the randomizer logic from Sigma in the truck, who developed the randomizer. And for that cell that had Stomp, the randomizer actually assumes that you either have a combination of Charge Jump, Double Jump, and Feather, or that you have the Wind activated and Feather. If you don't have those things, the randomizer assumes you can't get that cell, which means there was a much more convoluted plan intended by the randomizer for the runners to get to that Stomp. And the fact that everybody else kind of picked it up way earlier means that technically they all kind of sequence broke.
Yeah, everyone was intended to get Double Jump in order to get that. And I believe most of our runners finished without Double Jump entirely, so they definitely did sequence break.
It seems Terra does not have enough keystones to get to the Bash tree.
Oh no. Okay, so he's opting
That might be a
to key
problem.
dupe here. Now the question is whether he has his save in the right place to do this.
He does
I don't
not.
He does
that he
not.
does. Yeah, that's too close.
The save needs to be back in the room with the spiders, which is before the portal room. I think it's the 3rd room of Ginso, so it is very early. It looks like he might be doing a trial of locations and just placing a save further and further back until he finds the right location.
So we actually haven't even talked about keystones almost at all today because it just hasn't come up. But Hydra, do you want to give a quick reminder of keystone duplication, since that's more of usually a speedrun trick rather than a rando trick?
Yeah, sure. So keystones, there's 40 total in the game. The logic, I believe, assumes that you do not, or always have a sufficient amount of keystones for it, for every door.
Yeah, as soon as you get to the door,
yeah.
it assumes you
Yeah.
drop all your keys in.
So if there's a door you can go through, the logic has to have already given you keystones at that point.
Yeah. You can do a keystone duplication, which is done by dying at while sign is still in the door and keystones are still in the door, while your save is outside of the scene that the door is in. It basically just puts the keystones back in your inventory, but at the same time doesn't. It's pretty strange, and I don't fully understand it myself.
Yeah, the actual mechanics of how it works are pretty weird and not super easy to understand. But yeah, basically exactly that. And when he says the word scene, what scene means is basically area of the game, and the area varies a lot. It's not like region like, Sunken Glades or whatever. It's just like there are individual chunks of the map as used in the actual game design. So that part's a little harder to explain. But yeah, Terra opted to not keep experimenting to try to find where he could key dupe. He instead went down to BRB, and he's getting his light grenade tree, and he also actually did pick up a keystone from the ability cell down at the bottom of BRB. So he's closer, I believe, to being able to open that door.
He does have enough. He also grabbed one from the plant above the dash tree. So he does have 4 right now, but he was already in Blackheart, so he might as well grab the light grenade tree.
Salandriel exploring the the swamp areas, the outside swamp areas, and also seems to have found I think that's Glide, so that will be very useful, especially if they're able to find Wind Restored. And it's worth noting that keys to dungeons in the limit keys mode, oh, they just found charge jump, so that is a huge find. Will definitely give them a lot more freedom to do things.
Looks like Griffs has also made it to the climb tree, having finally completed the very challenging damage boost through those spikes.
Goodness. And of course, that gives you a full health refill, so he'll be happy to have that.
Yep.
He has to do the back half of his speed. Oh, gosh. This is the worst. So Oshi had the 102.51 and is done as of a fair bit ago. Terra navigating against their tree now. Looks like, as Hydra mentioned, he's got enough, so he'll be able to get through that door. So Landriel finally going to start making some real progress now that they have charge jump. So hopefully that will... ooh, that's a laser. Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Oh.
That's them back quite a bit.
Yeah, it had been so long since that last save. Oh my goodness. But on the bright side, Salandriel now knows where charge jump is. So it'll be hopefully a quick trip back to get it.
The challenge with deaths like this is remembering which pickups you needed and which pickups you didn't.
Yeah.
It can be something simple like just an extra energy early in the game, or like getting climb or charge jump later in the game. And not knowing where the pickup, or remembering where the pickups were if you die is very important. So it looks like Terra has to get the last tree. Yes, the charge jump tree.
Did he not get the teleporter?
No, he didn't hit the teleporter when he was at Feather.
Oh no. Yeah, that's just an oversight, I'm sure.
Yeah. He did end up hitting the Hollow Rogue teleporter, so it's not too bad, but it does set him back a little bit.
I'm gonna see if Salandriel saves this time. Please save. Please. Please, Salandriel. Please. Please save. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see it. Oh, goodness. Alright, Terra has made it back to Misty. All he needs is his climb tree, so yeah, he's just gotta finish this up. Griff's still struggling with this first part of Misty, or this first post-climb part of Misty. He still doesn't have double jumps, so he doesn't believe he can get into Sorrow. He still doesn't have glide, so he doesn't believe he can finish Sorrow. So he's going to finish Misty and probably try to get the Goo Mountain Seal, but this actually might take longer than just going back elsewhere and searching other pickups. So I think at this point, it kind of comes down to stubbornness almost. Like, I'm here, it's like some cost fallacy kind of thing, right? Where like, I'm here, I've already spent so much time here, I gotta see it through.
Yeah. It's a hard decision to make to just give up on an area like this. One that you know that a revisit requires completing everything you've already done.
I guess it is also worth talking about, we do know there's a known issue in this version of the randomizer regarding Alt-R and Misty Woods, right?
It's an issue that occasionally will show up, but it is rare, so most players will likely Alt-R if they don't think they need to complete the rest of Misty.
Right, the issue is, in some cases, when you Alt-R out of Misty, it breaks and does not revert back to the initial state, and that of course would make it impossible to complete. Oh, nice, with the dash through the lasers there.
Looks like he may decide to go for that as his strategy.
That's amazing and terrible. I don't know if he knows how to dash glide, but dash gliding would completely save him here.
Looks like he was having trouble landing on one of the platforms after he did an air dash.
So Terra is heading to Horu now. Manages to die in lava. Fortunately, save isn't too far back. Alright, Griff's made it past that part. Now he's going to take intentional death to reset his health. Where'd the spider go?
He killed it.
Oh, beautiful.
He wanted to place a save there, so he killed the spider.
Okay.
Oh, that bash bug. That's very unfortunate.
So that one's actually, that's actually not a bash bug on that particular slime. That's the original slime that just ruins you. If you aim the wrong direction and it's really precise, it will just send you nowhere. You'll like hit the ceiling.
Ah, I see. Well,
but yeah, that bash is terrible.
It still feels terrible when that kills you.
What is Terra doing? Okay, he just messed up Door Warp, that's all. Griffs did make it to the next area here and stomped into the spikes.
Oh, is he? Oh no. I thought he was trying to charge dash to the pit shoot chart there.
Oh no, no, back into the ground again. Alright. Into the final escape for Terra. He is just about done. Hard to read his timer because he's using the color key thing, but I believe it's running around a 116 right now.
Yes, it appears to be early 116.
So he'll come up with a 117, 118, something like that, which is a pretty good time. I know Terra does not have anywhere near as much rando experience as some of the other participants here, so that's a really good time for, I think, his lack of experience.
Especially given that he had to reset his game because he forgot that pickup.
God, I forgot about that. Wow. Unfortunately, that was only around 5 minutes in.
Yes, but it still can't help your the way that you're looking at the seed when you have to replay a whole section of it.
That was a very interesting quick kill from Griffs on those enemies. Not so much in the quick department, but you know.
But most of us practice that quick kill with a very specific set of skills in a very specific way. So, yeah, Terra having some trouble in the final escape.
He just missed bashing out that last thing there. Griffs is going to be walking with the orb here. Oh man, Hydra, tell me about walking with this orb.
Well, you're trying to hit it to a pedestal, but they're slimes. They are the worst slimes possible. They end up shooting projectile type things that land on the ground and then stay on the ground. At low health and without ultra defense, this is by far the worst part of the game, in my opinion. But there is consistent ways to dodge them. However, most people will not know those ways.
It looks like Griffs does know the skip for this cutscene.
That's good.
Which makes sense because he has started learning the All Dungeons category, which is one of a number of categories that comes here.
So Terra did manage to pull off some fish strats to finish off his run, so he'll be just holding right now and finishing off pretty shortly. Griffs, meanwhile, getting his Gumon seal, and let's see what he gets. I missed it. Nice. Of course, we know that it couldn't have been anything particularly valuable. We were told by the truck it was XP, so blarg. Unfortunately, his efforts with the Gumon seal not paying off. Now he's pretty much either going to have to try to find double jump or try to find glide or both. Now we know glide is... Actually, where was glide?
I'm trying to remember.
Was that the one that you had to...
Let's see if the truck... The truck says glide was at the Icelex XP.
Oh, yeah. That's brutal. I'm actually surprised that he's just never checked that, to be honest. not that surprised because the seed kind of gave them the opportunity to not really have to go there. But it's in a pretty easily accessible location. He does have charge jump now. Hopefully he'll get to it eventually. Terra's timer unfortunately didn't stop properly, but he got a 1:19.13. So congrats to him on finishing up. Salandriel still doing some exploration of the Moon Grotto area. I think I saw them here earlier, but I don't think they have the skills or energy to be able to finish this stuff. So checking it out now, some XP, some other things down here. At this point, I guess we're pretty much near the end, so I guess it's a good time to kind of retrospective on this race. What do you think, Meldon? From what we've seen so far today, were there any players that maybe surprised you, or were there any aspects of this seed that you thought were particularly interesting?
I'll start with Shed's performance surprised me. Not that he finished first, but how fast he did. He was minutes ahead of the next best time. So very impressive performance out of him. I'm excited to see how he'll do in the rest of the tournament. It's also, I think some of the runners could use to figure out kind of the optimal routing for different areas of the map in the late game. We saw a number of people go to Forlorn or Misty before they should have, and that ended up costing them time.
Well, Hydra, I'll put the same question to you. Were there any runners in particular that kind of, drew your attention during this, and was there any aspects of this seed that you kind of thought were interesting, either from, watching the race or from your own playthrough?
Yeah, definitely what Meldon said. I'm very surprised at how fast Shed managed to finish the seed. Obviously, it did have potential, but other than that, yeah, I don't really have anything.
I think it would be very interesting to look at a spoiler for this seed, because if you think about what was actually required here, the seed intended you to get clean water so that you could get access to charge jump, so that you could get access to so many other things. I believe climb was hidden in the water as well, and just many aspects of this seed that were clearly intended to require a much longer route. And what we've seen instead is, of course, these runners who, once some sequence breaks, you can just do some incredible things with these randomizer seeds.
Yeah, for sure.
So Griff's, unfortunately, this is the tough part. He's gonna be busy for a little bit. He needs to find either double jump or glide, and until he does, he's probably not gonna feel like he can actually even go to Sorrow Pass. Like he's gonna kind of assume that there's just no way for him to get in, and that is partially true. But if he gets a bit more health, and if he gets enough ability points to go to Ultra Defense, he might be able to do it. And maybe we'll see him try that. That would certainly be cool to see.
Indeed.
So in the meantime, I guess we'll find out what things he has not already done. Looks like just a couple things in this area. He opened this energy door. Unfortunately, it's just XP. There are a lot of XP pickups in this game. Meldon, you ever just get tired of seeing experience points?
All the time. It's nice to get sometimes because it gives you levels, but eventually hit a point where you just need so much XP to actually get another level that it just feels like a waste.
Yes, our reminder from the truck, charge jump and climb were both underwater, and double jump was intended to require both of those. So, and therefore stomp which would have required double jump. So very, very interesting sequence that was kind of, again, quote unquote, intended by the randomizer. Again, the randomizer just randomizes things, but it has to place things in such a way that you can actually complete the seed, and therefore, you know, that's what you can call the quote unquote intention of the randomizer, is the logic that it uses to justify its decisions and say that yes, you can actually complete this. So I guess, meanwhile, as we're finishing this up, we can talk a little bit about the doubles race, which is going to be coming up in just a bit. And the doubles is going to use a mode called Standard Shards. Meldon, you want to tell us a little bit about the Shards mode?
So I mentioned these briefly before. So how shards work is we take each of the keys. There are these 3 keys to the 3 main dungeons, the Water Vein, the Gumon Seal, and the Sunstone. And we break them up into 5 parts that are randomized throughout the map. And you have to collect 3 of those 5 parts to get the key. But unlike limit keys, those can be anywhere that is allowed by the logic. So they can't be inside the dungeon themselves, but can be basically anywhere else. And this can add to a lot more searching, especially late game. You can have all of the trees, and you can have all of the pickups, all the skills. But if you don't have the Sunstone, then you're still going to run around the map looking for it. However, in doubles, there's a very interesting dynamic. The players are allowed to share information with their partner. So they're allowed to tell them where pickups are. They can split what areas they search. So there's a kind of a whole new dynamic, and it'll be very interesting to see what people do with it.
Now, Hydra, have you played both modes, both limit keys and shards?
I have, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts from your running perspective of the differences between limit keys and shards? Like, is it a small difference? Is it a very big difference in terms of how you approach it?
I find the difference is mainly in limit keys, try and find a certain amount of skills and then just end up going to the world events. But in shards, you have to actually search more, which does lead to a longer speed generally, but it's also a lot more fun.
Interesting. So you prefer shards a bit?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Personally, having tried both, I think limit keys, this isn't a statement of opinion, of course, limit keys is generally faster. Just by virtue of your space of places that you have to look at is going to be smaller. But shards definitely intrigues me a bit in terms of just requiring you to check more stuff. It's actually similar to a mode. It's good to mention that the randomizer for Ori is very, very heavily inspired by the Link to the Past randomizer, which is a fantastic piece of software and a fantastic game experience. If you like Link to the Past at all, I strongly recommend trying it. But the Shards mode is very similar to a mode they've recently added to the Link to the Past randomizer called Triforce Hunt, where the entire point is just get 20 pieces of the Triforce of the 30 that are scattered throughout the world, and once you've gotten all the 20 that you need, it's over. You just are done. It's a really, really cool mode. It's a little bit different than the standard, where you actually have to get to Ganon, and therefore certain items are always required. But yeah, it retains some of that, some of that flavor, while also having the Ori experience, where you still, of course, have to get to Horu and be able to finish the final escape.
I find it a very enjoyable mode to play. I think a nice balance between searching for Sunstone just in a random pickup and just being handed it to you at a tree.
Do you have a preference between the two, Meldon?
I have a slight preference for shards, but I also like doubles as a game mode as well, so I think the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, I agree. Doubles is going to be very, very fun to watch. Very confusing because, of course, you got to follow a whole bunch of screens, but you'll be able to see what it's possible for people to do when they have a team, and both one player and their partner are going to be able to share that information, and they can split up and more efficiently cover the world. Griff's is having a heck of a time with these grenade throws here.
Looks like he is committing to completing as much of Lost Grove as possible.
This is a little bit rough, unfortunately, because we know there's not really anything down here. There is the possibility for something like Wind Restored to be here, because I don't believe anyone saw that in the rest of the runs that we saw, but...
I believe Muffin did, but I don't know where it was.
Okay. From the truck, we hear that Wind was in Sorrow, but he's not 100% sure on that. That's what we believe. It is it's very hard to keep track of course, all the pickups in 9 different screens at the same time. So, shoutouts to our truck. Today was Rory, the other main organizer of this tournament, and Sigma helping us out with some contributions, of course, from our restreamer Richard. Who, as if it wasn't enough that he was restreaming 9 streams simultaneously, also helped us out by pointing things out that were happening on some of them.
So it looks like both of our runners have started to level up the map abilities and are using their map to check for pickups they missed. Which I think is a very smart decision when you hit this point in your run.
Yep. Just, you never know what you might have accidentally forgotten at some point. Particularly if you've died, like any number of times. It's very easy to have gotten some pickup, died, and then just forgotten that you'd gotten it, and it was something important, and you just forget to go back and re-get it. So... having those map marker abilities leveled can save you a lot of grief potentially. Oh, I see that Salandriel's got lasers. That's always enjoyable.
Yep, that adds a further complication to this area.
Oh god. Oh god, the laser. Oh. Okay. Everything's fine, don't worry about it. Alright, so Griffs has completed his check of Lost Grove. There's actually a pickup after the lengthy cutscene down there, and I note that he did not opt to get that. Now that cutscene kind of sucks anyway. There's a skip for it, but it's awkward. Not everyone likely knows it unless they've run like all skills pretty much, or 100%. Sorry, all cells is what I meant.
Yeah. Although he does have grenade, charge jump, and climb, which allows for a slightly easier version of that skip.
That's true. But decent likelihood that he just doesn't know it. I mean, I don't even know the correct skip there. I tried it the other day and messed it up. So, question marks.
It's not... It is slightly precise to pull off, especially if you aren't aware of the positioning. Requires performing a 1-frame trick, grenade jump if you're using that method, and it only gets you 1 pickup. So
hey, we're seeing an attempt at Sorrow from Griffs. So I was actually just going to ask you, Hydra, for your thoughts on if you are missing a vital skill, but you don't know for sure whether you can get into a given area with or without it. Without it. At what point do you decide, you know what, I'm just going to try to go there anyway and see if I can invent a way to do it, basically?
Generally, if I attempt to do that, I will have had all of dungeon stones, and, for example, putting into Sorrow or doing all of Sorrow without certain stuff, I will attempt it if I already have all the dungeon. But if I don't, I know... Well, I don't... Either way, there's always going to be something that I need elsewhere that I've missed, but I don't know. It really just comes down to what I'm feeling at the moment.
I see. I can definitely... for Griffs, unfortunately, at the moment, he's not feeling that he is really going to try that. He looks like he thought about it. He got that 1 pickup there. And he's like, you know what? I still don't think that I can do this without double jump or feather. And as we know, those are far off from here.
He might try and do Forlorn.
That does seem to be where he's headed. That's unfortunate. From his perspective, I think this is a reasonable decision because there's a lot of stuff down here, many pickups. But yeah, unfortunately, reasonable decision. I guess the terms I like to use in the context of a randomizer are good decision versus right decision. This is what I would consider a good decision because there's a lot of things available down here. Unfortunately, we know because of our knowledge of everything that's available, it's not the right decision.
Given what he's missing, it's a very challenging trail of logic to follow to figure out whether or not the skills he's missing could be down here. If he was searching for Stomp, then most players are aware that the Stomp pickup can't be past the Valley Stomp peg. But missing Double Jump, you could imagine it being anywhere on the map. So this is a very understandable decision to think, well, it could be here.
Especially if you're not intimately familiar with the actual, like the exact things covered by the randomizer. Because, something comparing this randomizer with the Link to the Past one again, because as mentioned, it's heavily inspired as we get a lovely background for our stream now. That looks amazing. But comparing it against the Link to the Past randomizer in that regard, in Link to the Past, it's a lot more straightforward as to what is or is not a glitch and what's going to be in an intended path. It's just what you can do as a casual player, basically. But in this game, there's some things that are like you can lure an enemy into the distance and use bash off of it to get to something that might, in a casual sense, is just not at all intended, even remotely. But in the randomizer logic, it might be present because of the standard mode assumes some amount of luring. And we're seeing Salandriel now going under the water and getting climb. So that is a big win for them. And Griffs, meanwhile, is going to be making his way through Forlorn and not getting much of a win here. I really hope Salandriel will start saving ever. Please save. Please save the game. You're going to hit the spikes. Please save the game. Save the game. Right here. Right. Make a save. Save.
Please save.
Good lord! Why are you not safe? Probably because there's enemies too close. Oh, goodness.
Once you have enough energy, if the randomizer does so decide to gift you with it, remembering to save can be challenging, but it's very necessary for not losing time.
Yeah, I mean, we have some very, very skilled Ori speedrunners in this tournament, but even the most skilled, like even Hetfield, if he opted to, play randomizers, he would die. Like, deaths are going to happen. Oh, gosh. Taking a little more damage there, but actually it looks like Salandriel possibly has 2 of the health regen pickups, so that's actually incredibly nice and makes it a lot easier to not die. And there's the save we've been waiting for. Thank goodness. Oh, the Rhino's getting in the way. God. Ah, the stupid Rhino, dude.
This map stone can be very inconvenient to place in, given this Rhino.
Alright, I know it's only 72 XP, unfortunately. Looks like Salandriel is also using a slightly older version of the tracker, so we don't have the opportunity to find out how many map stones they've dropped so far.
Does look like we found out the 7th map stone to place in is Spirit Light Efficiency, which is a very nice ability to get, as it doubles the value of XP pickups, and if you level up the corresponding ability in the ability tree, will quadruple your XP pickups. But not a very useful pickup for Griffs at this point in the game.
Here's an interesting question. Does Griffs know this plant exists? He does not.
Oh.
So we know, obviously, us as commentators know that pickup is not vital to finish the seed, but that's a really important pickup to know about, just because it's very out of the way and hidden, and if you miss it and it's something vital, you're ruined. Like, you'll never remember that that's there. So we'll see exactly what he tries to do. Looks like he's going to use the intended means to traverse Forlorn the rest of the way and jump into spikes.
There are very few runners who have practiced doing Forlorn in anything close to an intended manner.
Or for that matter, in anything resembling a speedrun route. Like, most people do not go to Forlorn in a speedrun. Even if you do all cells, is minimal Forlorn usage.
Yeah.
All dungeons would be the main one.
And we use a couple of out of bounds in all dungeons to skip a large segment of Forlorn, which is obviously not allowed in this category.
I, on the other hand, am well equipped with my experience from 0 XP. Thank you very much.
I was just say you're one of very few runners to be well equipped to handle this.
Forlorn sucks, just to be completely real. Like, Forlorn's garbage. Oh goodness. All right, so Grips is
what a dodge of that laser.
Keystone. Yeah, it always looks tight even when you do it right. But yeah, that Keystone was only 78 XP, so not really particularly helpful. I'm not sure what he's trying to go for now. He's gonna backtrack because he already got the other Keystone, and there's nothing else up there except the plant, which he did miss. What are we gonna see? Is he teleporting out? No, God, he's dashing to his own death. All right. Okay, he's going to try to glitch out one of these cutscenes. That's a bad idea. Because he needs that point. If he's going to activate the wind escape, he needs that point. Oh, boy.
He can still Alt-R out of the wind escape.
Okay, that's right. I always forget that.
So.
And it only costs a few seconds, right?
But, yeah, he's trading one cutscene for another in terms of what he skips.
Right. I guess actually this one might even save more time.
I know I did timing for this at one point, but I can't remember how much time it saves. Because while we did used to use this in all dungeons, it's no longer in the route.
Interesting. Yeah, ability points are much harder to come by in pure speedruns than in a randomizer, because in a randomizer you just pick stuff up and it's like, well, sometimes it's an ability point.
Yep. It does appear Griff's is aware of his lack of it, as he was highlighting that with his mouse.
Does he know about the plant and the health cell, though?
We shall see.
No.
I wonder if he's... Oh, no, he does seem to be going for that.
I'm sure he knows about the health cell. The plant is visible, so it should be pretty easy for him to find.
Griff's is taking it very carefully through these lasers.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
But all of them are instant kills, so that mega health, while nice, will not help him. And he has now left Forlorn, so it looks like he's not going to check the wind escape.
He might just TP back to the Forlorn teleporter and Alt-R out of the wind escape afterwards. But maybe not.
Looks like he might be saving that for later. He might believe he needs an ability point for that, and is going to wait until he has gotten that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
he might be going into Haru.
Yep. I believe he is.
He could be just checking the pickups in Horu Fields.
Maybe,
Looks like he might be trying to double bash up to that that ledge above him.
Horu Fields is not very enjoyable to navigate with neither double jump nor feather. So,
Indeed.
yeah. I'm gonna eat this laser real quick. Nom nom nom. So many double dash. Oh, no.
Oh, that's not what he was looking to do.
Now, there is actually a way to get up here with double jump and a wall charge jump, but he doesn't have double jump, so... Okay, so he's done it with Bash and Grenade, which, of course, is the magical answer to everything.
He will hurl that boulder down to break that floor.
I wonder if he also knows about the plant in Oru Fields.
We shall see if he goes for it.
I'll use safety save right there.
And a nice charge dash, only to find more XP. So I think I saw he selected teleporting back to Valley, which would make me guess that he is going to attempt Sorrow with the skills he has.
Yeah, it might seem that way.
And having Rocket jumped up there, that does seem to be indeed the plan. So without double jump or feather here, but still having dash, this does require a couple of double bashes, but you can get around it with a couple of well-timed dashes as well.
You can also kind of just get in deep in there and just damage boost off the spikes and charge jump. I believe he has ultra defense at this point. There's no way he doesn't, so it should be fine to just get a bird up in there and charge jump a couple times. But, of course, you may not be aware of that, so...
The truck also points out that you can do a grenade jump from the left wall that gets you all the way into the spikes and helps to cut down on having to deal with using a bird at all.
And, of course, that's definitely not in the logic. The logic doesn't assume anything about grenade jumps, but it's also, beyond just not being in the logic, it's also a very advanced technique that... most players are not even very consistent at doing the grenade jump at the end of the game in the all skills category, let alone like just one time, let alone doing it multiple times or applying it as a technique that they use regularly.
Yes, it is definitely an advanced technique. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Very close. Very close.
Looks like he has settled on using the damage boosts, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's almost certainly the best. Part of the problem here is his... Well, I don't think his bashes are doing more damage, are there? There's no longer a bash damage upgrade in this version, is there?
No.
I forgot about that. So it's probably fine.
And there was
see
originally...
the swipes of frustration there.
Yeah. There was a considered additional stomp upgrade in the pickups, but it was decided against due to the fact that sometimes your stomps, if they do enough damage, they'll just go straight through enemies, which is not as useful for some of the things we intend to use it for.
Definitely not going to sugarcoat this. This is a very hard thing that he's trying to do. It is definitely possible, and it still probably would have been faster if he'd tried to do this from the start. Overall, that is, compared to, I think he did around 30 minutes of searching elsewhere. But this is hard. Like, this is difficult even for runners who are very experienced with the game. And Griff's has got a fair bit of experience with this game. Like, it's not like he's never played this or anything like that. And he does make it in.
And gets a save.
Beautiful.
So he is in there, and will hopefully find the water vein, and at that point he will be able to go complete the game, I believe.
Well, there's of course at least one thing before that, and that is that he needs to navigate Star Pass without Feather. Hydra, have you played the original randomizer, which is really a plandomizer that Chicken Supreme made?
I did, yeah.
Do you remember the experience of completing Star Pass?
Oh, I sure do. That was very interesting and well thought out, but not something someone would normally think of.
Yeah, it's not super fun. Meldon, if you have to complete Star without Feather, what's your approach? What tricks will you use?
Well, I hope that I have climb and dash. So if you have climb and dash, you can do a rocket jump with this frog and hold onto the right side of the wall, and the frog will still be able to shoot the ceiling. So it substitutes for Feather by just holding on for dear life at the top of it. And it looks like Griff's is going to try this. And
okay,
he gets the ceiling.
The climb part, but there was no problem, yeah. So that is good. That's a good start. Now, we're going to see. He's got Grenade and Bash, and he knows that he can get up with that, so that's good. Yep.
So he still has one major challenge left, which is how to get through this set of spikes before the tree. And he does have a good amount of health, and he has Ultra Defense, so it's quite
with
possible.
Between 11 health, Ultra Defense, and his combination of abilities, Charge Dump, and the various dashes, it should be totally possible for him to get through that area without needing really anything else. Now we're going to see what he is going to try, though. It looks like he's not opting to try that. Getting this boulder up there is actually somewhat challenging if you don't have Feather. Where'd the boulder go?
The frog hit it, and it went into dimensional.
God, okay.
You know, as you do.
That's incredible.
This is a glitch we don't often see. But this frog and this boulder have a very strange interaction, and they can send each other to, well, we don't really know where.
So as some folks are commenting, it got 0-0'd, which means it got sent to the origin on the map of the world, and it'll be off on its own, having a grand old time. But yeah, now it looks like he's gonna try damage boost through here. This is not super easy either, but it's just he's changing his mind again. I think he might not be aware that you can actually get through there.
But I think he would be better served using grenades to get better height to start off. I think he was running into spikes immediately and thought that was going to just cause too much damage.
That frog hanging on for dear life on that ledge there. Oh, he's killing it. He doesn't care about the frog. He's going for the rock.
Doesn't want the frog messing with his boulder.
Alright. Meanwhile, how's Salandriel doing? Has basically all of the late game skills, as you can see on the tracker there. Everything on the left side is blue. But unfortunately that's not... Oh! I just saw them highlight the pickup that is Stomp. Just saying like, oh, I think this one might be it. So I think that's where we're going to see Salandriel go and hopefully pick up Stomp and be able to make their way further along.
Which is good. It's hard to tell from the tracker, but I believe that's the only thing missing that Salandriel needs in order to continue progressing.
They do not have double jump, which is generally required to get up there. You can do it without it, but it's a lot harder.
They have the right idea, though. They just got to figure out a way to get up there. Climb and charge jump, so that's a great start.
see, I think charge jump and some well-used charge dashes will do the trick.
Not sure if Salandriel has charge dash actually.
That's a good point. Even though they have dash, it's no guarantee that they have charge dash.
Or for that matter, not having speedrun experience, that they know how they know to use it. Casually, charge dash is super uncommon. Like nobody uses it basically, because it costs an energy, and all it does is blow up one dude, right?
Yeah.
Almost. Oh, they got the short dash. I hate when that happens. And it looks like Still also is not aware of the 2 grenade bash trick. Interesting.
So Griffs has opted for going above the spikes through this other set of spikes in order to get to the charge jump tree. I think given his skills, this is a good decision. He has climbed charge jump, which makes this much more manageable. And without Feather, it can be a lot of work to get through the spikes otherwise.
So this is very interesting. Salandriel is trying to use a thrown grenade from the wall and then charge jump off the wall at it. Unfortunately, what they're finding is that the mechanics of that don't entirely work in their favor. Now they want a rocket jump. That's not quite.
And Griffs will be very happy to get this teleporter for energy and health as well as nice save.
There it is, baby.
Almost. There we go.
Yeah.
Stomp for Salandriel. Beautiful. And then you see that pause of just like, really? It's been 2 hours. Are you kidding me with this? Oh, goodness. And that's the randomizer experience, ladies and gentlemen.
Looks like Griffs has found a nice micro ledge in this set of spikes.
Oh, fantastic. This backtracking here to get to charge jump is actually harder than it seems. Some of these movements are awkward because they don't give you great spots to jump off of. And yeah, there's a billion spikes, so...
But I think he could get this with one more damage boost if he doesn't take 2 damage on the first one. So I think... Oh. He continues to miss this jump off this very strangely angled wall.
I think it would probably have just been faster to land in the spikes at the bottom there and just charge jump out of them. That's the kind of thing that, like... I'm trying to think of what weird scenarios we've used those in. I guess reverse vent order was a category that while we were developing it came out with a lot of very weird ways of doing things. So if you were familiar with those, that would help a lot here.
Oh, perhaps found the micro ledge right there. You are able to stomp the wall from there. Though I don't know if they know that.
Yeah, the other way to get through this wall from this direction is you can either damage boost in the spikes to charge jump into it, or you can do a charge jump followed by a dash, an air dash or charge dash from this far wall. I'm unsure if he knows this.
It does not seem that he does. Salandriel is watching the everyone's favorite cutscene about a old-fashioned father. That's the euphemism we're going with this time.
Fair enough. So he's decided to kill the lantern to get that out of his way.
That's not going to
help.
But
he does not realize he needs to follow it up with a dash in order to actually get to that wall. And it looks like he's decided to go search for more pickups.
Oh, man. That is really unfortunate. He was really close. And,
luckily, he does have the teleporter, and it's not hard to get back to that same point. So, if he does decide to go back and retry it, it's a quick revisit.
So Solandrio, meanwhile, finds themselves with just like an entire world of options, and it's like, where do I even go? Like, there's so many places that I could go right now because I just got stomped. I already had every other skill except Charge Flame and Double Jump. So, like, the world is open to me right now. What do I even do? So, it looks like we're seeing a trip back to Hollow Grove from Solandrio, and they're gonna head to Valley? Yes.
So at this point, they have almost everything that they need. They might want to have Double Jump, but otherwise they can at least start making some progress on the left side of the map.
Unfortunately, with all these skills that Sil has, like even if you're not very confident in like speedrun type tricks or anything like that, you've got more than enough options to make something happen.
Yep.
Oh, eating a costly death there. Valley of the Wind is just absolutely brutal. Even if you're not doing a speedrun, like you just won't save. You just be like, oh, everything's fine. You just take 8 spike hits and you're dead. Alright. Meanwhile, Griff's, he had headed down into the bottom of Grotto, but now he is heading to... He's going back to Grotto. Other stuff you guys haven't checked out yet?
So I don't remember. Do you remember where Glide was?
Oh god, I'm so
experience.
Ah, there we go, yes.
It was the Iceless 100 experience.
Ah, of course.
Yeah. Double Jump
He's
was
so close to that.
on Swamp. He might be heading there.
Okay. That would
Maybe.
at least be something.
It would,
That would-
yeah.
It would probably be sufficient to get him the rest of the way, to be honest. Like, I think if he got either Feather or Double Jump right now, he would be... But the problem is he doesn't have the wind, so I don't know that he feels confident double bashing the fish up there to get that cell. Are we going to see that? We are seeing that,
Maybe.
okay.
He
we
did
are.
seem confident in doing a couple of double bashes, and with dash, you can do a rocket jump as well.
Oh, that's true. He isn't, though. Oh, no. Okay, but he's safe so he can reload and retry. Almost there. Oh,
Very close. And having some very classic menu challenges. As soon as you click away from the main menu, you immediately get into menus that we spend no time in and can be sometimes a little challenging to get out of.
okay.
And he is up there.
There we go.
And he has double jump.
Yes.
So we'll see where he decides to go now.
I'd be shocked if he went anywhere other than Sorrow. That's got to be more than enough. That was Valley of the Wind. I'm gonna hope that was just a mistake.
I don't know if he has the Sorrow teleporter. Did
He
he ever grab that?
He did.
I thought he opened it.
He made a save on it, so that's enough to get it for you. He may think that he may think that getting out of those spikes is more work than just doing Sorrow Bash with double jump.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
he's trying to get this pickup left of... I don't think he got this earlier because I don't
No, he
know
did.
what to think. Yeah, I don't know what to think of what Griff's is doing right now. I'm very confused. Okay, well, dying is what he's doing right in this moment.
And looks like Salandriel is making their way through Valley.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some good progress with Salandriel starting now.
Yep.
It's like once you have all these things and you've got Stomp, there's no double jump, so that is a problem. And I would not expect Salandriel to have known how to do the double bash stuff, nor to have had double bash binds set up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have been surprised if they'd gotten the double jump pickup. Oh wow, they're trying for fast stopless. Okay.
Were they trying?
Yeah, not for...
Are they trying for old fast stopless?
I think it's more likely that they've like seen how to do it but don't really know. So I like just trying it, like, hey, maybe I can do this trick.
Yeah.
Definitely don't spend too long on it. Griffs is almost through. He is doing the right thing. Just a lot of damage boost here, but yeah, with double jump, this will be possible for him real soon. There we go. Oh, he's got triple jump as well, of course.
Yeah, as soon as you can get through that, the V of that spikes, with triple jump, it starts to get a lot easier to
this is it.
Make it up.
Water vein for Griffs.
Does he have enough stones though?
Looks like he has 6 keystones.
Okay. Cool.
So he is fine.
All right.
He has one more door to go through.
And yeah, Griffs is basically
4.
done. He's gonna finish his. Why is he teleporting back to Sorrow? What are you doing, Griffs? Go finish the game. Now he's going to Horu? Griffs, what are you doing, man? Oh, goodness.
Did he not have the swamp teleporter?
He did.
No, he's definitely headed to Horu. Ooh, I hope he doesn't. It's not a overly costly mistake, but I hope he doesn't try to go to the end of the game right now, as the final door will not let him through.
Oh gosh. I mean, I guess 2 hours into a seed like this, when you've just been searching for one thing for like 30 minutes, you finally find it, and then you're just like, I'm so done. Can I just be done? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just forgotten that he still hasn't gotten the bash tree.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be surprised and unhappy when the door does not let him through.
I've definitely done one of these myself in a randomizer. I was playing shards mode and just walked up to the Horu door with 2 out of 3 sunstone shards when I'd already, like, I was in go mode otherwise, but it's a great feeling, man. You walk up to that door and you're just like, well.
So he gets the door warp, and the door will not let him through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I hope he realizes he is missing a hurry. I don't know if he realizes it.
We'll have to see. He has alt-art, so...
Oh, poor Griffs, man. Oh, just after 2 hours and 10 minutes of a seed, you're just like, can I just be done, please?
Yeah.
He accidentally teleported to the wrong place, so he reloaded his file, not realizing that it actually would have been faster to... Oh, yeah, you just... Oh.
You lose your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we there yet?
And once you make a decision to commit to something, like, oh, I'm gonna alt-R, you just have to go with it. Like, you can't constantly question yourself. We haven't timed each of these little iterations to know which is faster, so...
Yeah. And the thing is, like, in a randomizer, most likely you're not going to win strictly because of your execution. Your execution can help a crap load, but like the decisions that you make in terms of where you go and the routing and stuff, that matters way more. So at the end of like a solid randomizer race, it's most likely still going to come down to the routing decisions more so than the individual execution of the two runners.
Definitely. It will be exciting if we have two runners that both make the same decisions, and it does come down to execution. But it's unlikely given the number of pickups in the game.
That said, I have watched a Link to the Past randomizer race, the finals of their tournament, where the two runners were just neck and neck the entire time, making basically the exact same decisions the entire way. So it can be a thing. And there it really did come down to one decision that one runner made that won the race for him. But yeah, that's super often. So Salandriel traversing Misty with no problems with that double jump, which is really cool to see. Feather, of course, helps a ton. But definitely Go ahead.
Very few runners practice going through Misty without double jump, so you instinctively just start to develop habits where you use it, and it can be very strange not having it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, like right there where Phil tried for a jump to a platform that is just not makeable without double jump. I definitely think Salandriel's confidence has gone up a bit just over the time kind of getting to Stomp, and once they did, it's like, oh, I can actually like do stuff now. All right. Meanwhile, Griff's finally got his bash trees, so now he can actually finish the game. I've also got to say I really enjoyed the force trees effect, which is the setting that makes it so that you cannot actually enter that final door in Horu without having collected all the skill trees.
It's very satisfying as a viewer, but it's very irritating as a player when that happens. You just kind of sit there confused for a moment, what's happening, and then realize, oh, I missed something. And you have to figure out what it is and go back to it.
Here's an interesting question that arises in conjunction with that. Hydra, when you're running, do you like to use a tracker for yourself? Not necessarily whether it's for the viewers or not, but like, do you pay attention to your own tracker?
I sure do, yeah. It helps me a lot, and I don't need to remember where I've been. I have seen the trees on the tracker. I don't need to remember any of that information. I just find it helps me focus a lot more on what I can do in the moment without having to think about backtracking at all or anything.
How about you, Belden?
I like it because I forget where I've been. So I like to have an exact count of all the trees I've been to. I've played too many randomizers to keep it all in my head at this point.
It definitely gets really bad if you play two randomizers in the same day, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You'll just start thinking like, oh man, I have Feather, right? Nope, that was the previous seed, man. Alright, so Griff's is doing his final escape. It's going to come to an end for him pretty soon. Manages to dunk into the lava. He's kind of impatient. He just wants to charge dash everywhere. Oh, the final escape event gave him XP and triggered a level up. That's really funny.
An ability point and a level up refill that you definitely don't need. But
yep. Alright. Salandriel finishing up the back half of Misty. I wonder if we're going to see them go for the Gumon seal. Nope. We're going to see them Altar.
Looks like they decided Misty was not worth it. Making the call that Gumon Seal is only one event. There's more to be had, and hopefully the other ones have the important item.
I think that's a good call. I'm not sure. I know that Salandriel is obviously pretty new to randomizers, and Ori in general. They haven't done speedruns of Ori before, but the question to me is how much do they understand like the randomizers rules and format and what sorts of things can be possible? Because I know a mistake that I frequently made when I was initially playing Limit Keys Seeds was I didn't really internalize the fact that the keys, once I was down to only needing keys, there was only events and skill trees that they could be at. So I wonder if that's something that Salandriel knows and understands, or if maybe they're just like, well, I don't really want to finish this area, but doesn't really appreciate why specifically.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I know the randomizer fairly well, and I still forget while I'm playing limit keys. I don't need to get this pickup. The only things I need are these events, these trees. Kind of, there's a guarantee that the pickups are there.
So question arose, even in our truck discussion, as to what tricks Salandriel knows. Salandriel, again, really new. Even with the community, we're not super familiar with Salandriel, but we have this this form that we put out, a survey, and Salandriel filled out as far as tricks that each runner would be able to execute or would try to execute in randomizer playthroughs, and literally just filled it in as I don't know. So even Salandriel is kind of, as they're going, they're discovering like, what am I going to try? What tricks do I even know? And so we're seeing that as we're going.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if over the next week before the matches start, if Salandriel puts in some more time to learn some of these tricks and how their run goes when they actually are playing one-on-one in the bracket.
Griff's holding right now. Finally managed to calm the tilt a little bit, enough to actually finish the final escape. So his run coming to an end. No charge flame, no glide for him, but he was able to finish with double jump. So you can see, I think the thing to take away is there's not really anything to conclude about Griff's play himself. Like, he just got, he just didn't look in the place where the thing he needed was for a long time. But, the interesting thing to take away is just, like, from that one decision, it can make a huge impact, like how long it takes you to find the thing you need and actually get through.
Indeed. The randomizer can be very punishing, as I'm sure everyone who's played it is aware.
So 2:16:31 for Griff's. So congrats to him on finishing up. That will, of course, leave Salandriel in the final slot time-wise.
And unfortunately, since we do have another segment of this tournament that we need to get started with, we will be cutting to the doubles free-for-all in just a couple minutes. That will also conclude my commentary here. And I'd like to welcome on Shed, who will be joining for the doubles, and Rory Ray, who will be joining us for the doubles. I think they'll be joining us in just a little bit.
They're just chilling.
Yes. Hello. I'm here.
Yo.
Hello, Shed. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your excellent play in the singles.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a super fast seed, and I got stupid lucky with some of the pickups, but hey, it's a rando. Sometimes that happens.
I think we'll all agree that you did get a little lucky, but still put up the best time out of all of the singles players. So.
Wait, did Salandriel broke Misty?
Yeah. Oh God, the stream. Don't mind the slight mess. Richard's just setting us up for the doubles, and we will still have Salandriel's stream visible while the doubles is going on.
All right.
That prep soon.
Well, I'm going to be heading out. Best of luck in the doubles.
Thank you very much,
Melvin, for joining us.
So Rory, our other main organizer for this tournament, how have you enjoyed the action so far?
It's been something. I was trying to follow it all.
So I did ask this of Meldon, but I'm going to ask this of you two. How was your experience playing through the solo seed?
My solo seed went okay, I think, but not great. I ended up with a low 45. I think Raz beat me by a few seconds, actually. But I think there were definitely some mistakes in there. But overall, I think I played okay, and I'm happy with it.
Meanwhile, Shed, the god over here, just manages to beat everybody. So tell me a little bit, because the big thing that put you ahead was that you went to Stomp basically immediately. What